Ooh, that's a hot mug, guy.
Well, here we are on the second last video. We're talking about Supernatural Season 9. We're talking about the top 5 worst episodes of Supernatural Season 9. Now, admittedly, Season 9 does have a lot of faults. It has a lot of story episodes that just go absolutely nowhere. And there are also some filler episodes that are just downright trash. So here are the 5 that I'm going to say. These are just my thoughts. Of course, this is just my opinion. You guys can have yours. You can disagree with me if you want. But mainly my thing here is talking about why they're bad and what they could have maybe done better, as well as just starting a general discussion, because that's what I've enjoyed a lot with you guys. So starting off with number 5, I think I'm gonna like it here. The opener of season 9 is actually one of the worst episodes of the season, and the reason why is because this is an opener. In the history of Supernatural, aside from this one, the other worst opener is season 6, which I will still say is the worst opener, but that one already had 2 bullets in its kneecaps coming off of season 5. But for this one, the whole idea is trying to excuse or make up the whole reason why Sam is still alive after not dying for the tablet, not dying for shutting the gates of hell, not dying for the trials. It was really not the bus well done in terms of Dean just basically being selfish. Someone did make a comment earlier about how this was choosing the smaller picture over the bigger picture, and yes, that technically speaking is there, but the whole interactions between Dean, Gadriel, who is posing as Ezekiel, best part about all of it is what's going on inside of Sam's head. Sam having his own different version of the man who knew too much, which was the last episode that Eric Kripke ever wrote, being the end of season 6. But I feel like this is a watered down version of it. There are some cameos in here for just the sake of having cameos with Death and Bobby, and the whole bit with Dean just trying to figure out what's going on and figuring out a way to keep his brother alive for his own selfish reasons. And then you also have some pretty cringy jokes and some pretty cringy kind of references in here. The openers of every season is supposed to make you want to watch the season. And when you see that there's already going to be drama of lying to each other right off the bat for the sake of drama, it's not exactly a great start. Number 4, I'm No Angel. Now this one has some good bits to it. I'm not going to deny that. The whole idea of Castiel learning to be human, talking about the complaints of being human, that's all great. But there is so much retconning and so much bullshit that you have to accept in this episode, from Reapers apparently now being bounty hunters as well as angels and being able to hunt down people, to this lady accepting Castiel into her house in the most unbelievable means possible, to her turning out to be a Reaper and then killing Castiel and being absolutely unstoppable 1 minute and then completely bone dead dumb the next. And then Sam using his powers to save Castiel, which that part in itself was actually not bad. You actually thought Castiel had died. And then Dean having to come up with the most boneheaded excuse imaginable about why Cass is alive and why Sam can't remember it. That is the worst part about it. We also are getting a little bit of an interlude of the setup of the whole Angel War, and it's so poorly put in here, and the fact that the execution of it overall is so bad makes this worse. Number 3 is Thin Man. This is just dumb. You took the whole idea of Slender Man and you made it absolute ass, and on top of that, this is the last episode you ever did with the Ghostfacers, and while the Ghostfacers weren't exactly the fan favorite characters, like they kind of had okay episodes here and there and I didn't mind them, this episode is just such a disappointing end for that story, and the fact that these two never come back in the entire show's history is kind of a disappointing end, because nothing ever came of it. It was just bleh. I'm really kind of disappointed with that. Number 2, now this one might be surprising to some people that it's not the worst one, but there is one worse than, and I assure you, number 2 is Bloodlines. Bloodlines could have been cool if this was actually part of the season. If this was its own season, hell, this could have been like 5 episodes at the beginning or the end or the middle. Just a cool story arc with a bunch of villain gangs that are also happen to be monsters of different kinds, all fighting each other. But the problem is, the majority of this episode is with characters you don't know and you don't care about. You completely retcon the idea of what skinwalkers or skin changers are, as well as you just have a bunch of characters and acting and dialogue that just are cringe. You don't care about it. It's oozing with Vampire Diaries douchery, and you just don't care. When Dean and Sam have to move on at the end, you're just like, thank God, I did not want to know what else happened with this storyline. There's some interesting potential here, absolutely, but it just did not have any gusto to it. They did not set this up at all, and they leave it basically to hang out and dry, and there's an absolutely very believable reason why this was never picked up. Now, before we do number one, I'm just going to do a few honorable mentions. King of the Damned, what a completely boring end to Abaddon. Stairway to Heaven, I actually think it's still a positive episode, but there's so many aspects of that episode that could have been better. It could have been its own like 5-6 episode arc. I really wish it had been. Blade Runners, I know I get a little bit of fact for that one, but I think that it's a very circumstantial episode of just things happening for the sake of happening rather than any of that story being fluid. It feels so disjointed to me. But now for the number one worst episode of Supernatural Season 9, Rock in a Hard Place. This episode is cringe incarnate. There are so many bad jokes in this episode. There's so much stupid bullshit with the whole born again version shit. The fact that Dean is like, ooh, I spanked it to your videos and now let's do it, is just like, there's a lot of in there. Maybe this would have been the idea of like the boyhood dream back in your teens in the early 2000s, but there's a lot of this episode it just feels real gross. The whole villain aspect is so poorly added. And then the fact that the fucking porn star never comes back again at the end of the episode, despite all of this, it just felt like they really did not know what they wanted to do with this, and they were just so hard set on the jokes that, as bad as they were, I don't know. The weirdest part about that is this episode was written by a fairly decent writer who would then go on to write the jingle for The Witcher. Weird fucking additive there. Anyways, those are my top 5 worst. I'm curious to see what your guys' are in the comments below. Let's have that discussion. Very curious to see what you guys think. And then, of course, the top 5 best episodes of Season 9 will be next week, and that will be it. We will be concluding Season 9. I am very excited to see how this goes. Anyways, guys, that's all from me. Thank you guys again for watching. Thank you guys again for hearing me ramble. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, and if you're interested, more, subscribe. And until then, see you guys one more time next week.